She's like, but the baby like is not growing normal. It doesn't look like a normal 10-week-old baby. And she like looks like a miscarriage is about to start.
What is up, everyone? I'm your host, Alannized, and this is Noche de Pendejadas, your favorite podcast turned talk show en donde yo traigo a tus influencers favoritos para platicar y posiblemente sacarles sus trapitos al sol. Hoy les tengo un episodio que yo sé que allá en casita ustedes están súper emocionadas de escuchar. So without any further ado, please help me welcome my guest tonight, Mama Lulu. Hello, girlie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, actually, but I am so excited to have you here with us today. I know this has been a long time in the making, and I know you're super nervous.
Yes,
Pero
I'm
le
so
estoy diciendo,
nervous.
amigas, que ahorita se le van a quitar los nervios. You're gonna get those nerves off. We're shot in.
Yes,
but I
one
feel
shot.
like we're good. We're good. I feel like we're ready to talk a lot of CHISME, amigas. You have a lot of things you want to talk about, and I'm so excited for me to get to know you a little bit better, and for everyone at home as well to get to know a little bit more of who is Lulu. Before we start with today's episode, I'm going to go ahead and give you the mic to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is Lulu. Everyone knows me as Mama Lulu, and I'm a 21-year-old stay-at-home mom of 3 kids, and I'm a wife. And basically, I just share my life as a young mother.
I love that. And I feel like a lot of your followers love seeing your videos because you really do take them along with what it's like to be a stay-at-home mom. Y yo bien encantado, amigas, porque hoy voy a aprender muchísimo de ella. Tell us a little bit more about your day. I know you drove in from Phoenix yesterday. How was the road trip? What have you been up to? I saw you were at the beach this morning. Tell us everything you've been doing.
Basically, it was like a 5-hour road trip. We were originally going on a flight, and I canceled it. I should have went on the flight, guys. But it was a good road trip. We went to the beach. We're going to have like a little family vacay out of this. And yeah.
It's going to be a good time, you guys. Y pues hoy a mí me toca platicar con ella. And we're going to go straight into the chisme. We're going to go into everything. I know you have a very inspiring story. And I know a lot of you guys at home, once you guys listen to it, ustedes van a quedar bien impresionados. So we're going to go ahead and start off with your childhood because I feel like it's very important to talk about your childhood so they can get a better understanding of what you've been through and what's made you who you are today. Tell us a little bit more about your childhood. How was Lulu growing up?
I'm originally from New York, but I was raised in Arizona. So I've been in Arizona almost my entire life. And my parents did suffer from addiction. But I did have a pretty good childhood besides that. You know, I try not to make that like my whole childhood.
How young were you when you came from New York?
I think I was like a toddler.
Oh, okay, so you really don't remember
I really
your New York
from
life.
Arizona, technically.
Do you ever miss or want to go back to New York?
No.
You're like,
Arizona baddie, okay?
Have you been though to New York or no?
Yeah, it's too much for me. Arizona's so like calm, I feel like, compared to like New York. It's such a busy city, and I'm just like an AZ girly.
Arizona for sure is more calm. I've been to Arizona a couple of times, and I feel like it is very calm, but fucking hot. How do you do it in the summer?
I don't know. It's so hot. I don't even leave my house. That's why I'm a stay-at-home mom. I stay inside. It's
You're
so
like
hot.
legit.
It feels so good out here, though. It feels so good. I came out here. I'm like, yeah, I might move out here now.
Do you want to? Is that ever in the plans?
Low key. It might be the plan, guys.
You guys, next month, aquí la van a ver. You guys are going to see her next month. I want to talk a little bit more. You know, you mentioned that you grew up with your parents being addicted to drugs. Tell us a little bit more about that. What exactly were they addicted? And how was your home life growing up with parents that were addicted to drugs?
Honestly, I feel like my dad, he was addicted first, and then my mom became addicted later on. At first, it started off as just painkillers. He started off being addicted to painkillers, and then he was addicted to cocaine, and then it became meth. Amphetamine, or I don't know how to say it correctly. But at first it was just painkillers because he worked so much. He did construction, built houses, did electrician, AC, all of that. And then that's when he was like, oh, I'm in pain. And he got addicted to painkillers because he started taking it after work. And then it became where he just wanted it more. Me and him were actually so close. He would take me to go on all his drug runs. I'll go on his drug runs with him as a kid. I thought we were best friends. The whole time he was just doing drugs and stuff. He would tell me we're gonna go get a Polar Pop, and we'll go get a Polar Pop at the gas station. And then we'll drive around all Phoenix. And then the whole time he would just popping his little pills.
How was your relationship with your mom growing up?
So I feel like when I was little, she was a really good mom. My mom was a really good mom. I just feel like she yelled a lot. I don't know. She was always angry, I feel like. But other than that, she was a good mom. She didn't start doing drugs until I was like 12, I think. My dad was always doing drugs, though.
Like, did you know that, though? Like, did you, like, know physically, like, oh, shit, my dad's on drugs?
I remember I walk in, he'll be doing cocaine. Like, in the bathroom, I'd be like, what is that? I didn't know. And then I watched, like, a movie of, like, the cartel. And then they're, like, sniffing cocaine. I'm like, my dad does that. My dad sniffs that stuff, you know?
You're like, all casually. He's
yeah,
like, he does that every day.
Like, my dad does that in the bathroom.
Did you tell your friends?
Yeah.
What would they think?
They're like, your dad does cocaine? I'm like, yeah, he does.
You're like, your dad does it?
Right? Like, isn't that normal?
That was very much your normal life.
Yeah,
that
like,
was
it was
very
normal to
much
me.
what you saw growing up. When and how did you realize, like, oh, shit, this is actually a problem that my parents are suffering with?
So my dad, he, like, got addicted to spice. I think it's just, like, fake weed. And he got addicted to it, and then he had, like, a heart attack. And then I remember, like, my mom was like, we need to take all the spice out the house. He had, like, bags of it. He took it all out, and they threw it out or whatever. He, like, had a heart attack. I'm like, what is he, like, why did he have a heart attack? Mama, she's like, he's addicted to drugs, all this stuff. And then I realized he's taking me with him to get all these drugs. She didn't have no one to talk to. She moved from New York and had, like, no family. So she would just talk to me because I was, like, I have an older brother, too. But he really was just, like, in his room 24/7. And when he got addicted to spice, I was like, yeah, something's definitely wrong. And then that's when I knew, like, something was wrong when I was a kid. And then it just started getting worse. Then he started doing meth. And then that's when, like, everything went downhill when he started doing meth. I was like, what is going on? My parents are tweakers. They thought the house was tapped. Like, the FBI was watching us. They literally was like, they're the show of us in Canada where everyone's watching us. Like, all this stuff. I'll come home from school. The mirrors would be covered. We weren't allowed to, like, look at ourselves because they were tapped. We weren't allowed to charge our phones. He would tell me I had a twin sister in the attic. He'd be like, go in the garage and go talk to your twin sister. I'd be like, what twin sister? And then he'll be like, there's little people running around. Like, all this
like
crazy
paranoid
stuff. And then I started getting paranoid as a kid. They were making me paranoid. I was like, are they, like, real or, like, this fake? So then I would, like, start telling everyone. Then my friend came over. And then she came over, and then she was showing me music. She was like, let's listen to music. And my dad comes in and points a gun at her. I swear, he points a gun at her.
What did you do in that moment?
I don't know. I thought it was normal. I literally thought it was normal. I was staring at him. He like, you're getting into my daughter's head with this music. Like, he was tweaking. I was like, what the heck? And he, like, thought she was trying to get in my head, showing me normal music that I listened to. And she never came over again.
Do you feel like you kind of lost a lot of friends growing up because of your parents? If so,
I remember
why?
at school, they would, like, pick me up and try to embarrass me, like, tweaking. Like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. Like, they'll get out the car to let me in the car. Like, why are you getting out the car?
Like, your parents?
Yeah.
They'd make it known, like, to your friends?
Yeah, everyone knew my parents were on meth. Everyone would talk about how my parents did drugs.
How did that affect you in school? Obviously, you know, you're trying to live. I feel like sometimes in school, you know, as kids, especially kids that are suffering from very traumatic experiences at home, I feel like sometimes school can also be like a way to escape that. And obviously, you couldn't escape that because everyone at school, you know, knew. How did that affect you? And what did you live in school when it came down to, like, kids knowing that your parents were addicted?
My friends were good friends, though. I would go to school, and honestly, my school was, like, my escape. I hated being home. I loved being at school, which a lot of people don't. I loved being at school, and I would just, like, literally every day I wake up and be like, yes, I can go to school today. I can go do this. And I feel like my friends really didn't care. Like, sometimes they'll joke about it, but it wasn't nothing serious. Like, oh my God, your mom does math, your dad does this, you know?
Would you take the jokes, like, seriously, or would you be like, laugh it out too? Just
No,
to
I
be
feel
like,
like I always laugh out my trauma. I'm such, like, oh, yeah.
You're like, yeah, my parents do it. Do
Yeah,
you want to? You like, want me to bring some?
You want me to bring you some?
How did you feel like at home? Obviously, you know, I feel like there was a part of you that maybe didn't feel safe being around your parents, seeing all these drugs.
Yeah.
What was home life like? Did you feel like you always felt on edge? You didn't know if your parents were going to act out, get paranoid at any moment? What was that like for you?
Honestly, it was scary. I was so quick to call 911, which is so bad. So my dad, he would, like, choke my mom and, like, hurt her. And then I would be like, grab my phone. And I, like, call him. I can't go fight my dad.
Yeah.
And, like, she'll, like, be in the air getting choked. And then I'm, like, watching my little sister. I'm like, I gotta call the cops. I gotta save my mom. And then he started knowing, like, I would call the cops on him so much. He would, y'all, I'm not a snitch, but I had to save my mom.
Yeah.
Okay, I had to save her. They would come, and then, like, he'll get away with it, and he'll come back home. And then another time he did it, he like smashed my head into the car because he's like, you're calling the cops on me. And I'm like, I'm trying to save my mom, you know, like he would always try to like kill my mom, literally.
Did you ever have like any type of resentment with your dad growing up? Or did you ever feel like, you know what, this isn't the dad that I felt like at one moment was my best friend, like the drugs transformed him?
Yeah. Well, he also is diagnosed with like bipolar disorder and I think, what is it, schizophrenia? He's diagnosed with like a lot of mental disorders. I used to think he was such a good dad, such a good husband to my mom. And then as I grew up, I was like, he's a piece of shit to her. He beats her. He does all this to her. And I was like, bro, like, I do not want to ever be with a man like him. Ever. Like, it was so normal for her to like get hit by him, for them to do drugs. I was always saving her. I was hiding my sister in the closet so she don't see it. I was just trying to save her all the time from him. That's when she started doing drugs, and out of nowhere, it was just like them both trying to kill each other at that point.
Did you ever see them both physically do it? What was that like? And tell us about a moment where it got really bad.
Yeah.
Wait, together, the same car?
Yeah, they both lit on fire.
Tell us, wait. I want to know more about that. Give us how did that happen?
Okay, so they were like fighting or whatever, and they're both in their cars, and then he's mad that she's driving off, so he gets in her car to try to stop her, and then they like collide their cars together, and then they both catch on fire in the front of our house, and all the neighbors come out, and then my dad's calling the neighbor a cunt. He's like, go in your house, you stupid cunt. Like they were psycho. They were on meth. I hate it there. I was like, my parents are crazy. I need to leave. And I feel like that's why I grew up so, like, fast, you would say. I just wanted to start my own family and get away from them, you know?
You know, I feel like a lot of kids, especially that come from troubled homes, always, a lot of the time, end up, you know, following those same paths.
Right.
Growing up, did you have it clear in you that you were like, you know what, this is something I don't want for myself?
Yeah.
Or did they ever be like, mija, come over here, like, you know, we're doing this because they were on something and they probably weren't, you know, 100% there. Did that ever happen with you?
I feel like they just stopped parenting at a point. And I remember my mom, like, there was a time where me and her were arguing, and she flings the hot coffee at me. Like, she made, like, coffee, and she flings it at me, like, at my face. It wasn't, like, hot, but it was hot, you know?
Yeah.
And then she flings it at me, and then she turns around, grabs the pepper spray, and pepper sprays her own eyes. Like, crazy, right? Crazy.
For what? Just...
Because she hurt me. So she wanted to hurt herself. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I do.
So
like, kind of like a punishment for being,
yeah, she
quote
flung
unquote,
coffee at me, and then she turns around and pepper sprays herself in the eyes. I was like, what the heck? It was crazy growing up. I feel like, I don't know, my life was literally a movie back then. Like, nothing sounds real, but me and my sister were talking about it, and then my husband's just like, yeah, that's crazy.
You know, you were telling me the other day that at 12 years old, your dad took you to Target, and that Target run turned into a very tragic moment. You know, your dad was booked into jail for 2 years with a DUI with a minor and with child neglect. Tell us a little bit more about that moment. How did that happen? And, you know, what was your reaction to everything?
Basically, my dad, he was like, get in the car. We're going on a Target run. And I'm like, okay. And then he pops a bunch of pills before we leave. And I'm like, I'm a kid. I'm like 12, you know? So then we drive to Target, and he parks by a random car. He parks by a car. And basically when he parks by the car, he like gets out, and he's like, oh, this is my friend's car. He said I could take his tires. I'm a little girl. I believe him. I'm like, okay, like get his tires, you know? So he gets out and he grabs his tires, and like he's like in the middle of changing the tires, and he falls asleep in the driver's seat. And I'm like, Dad, wake up, because he took like a bunch of Xanny bars. I'm like, wake up. He wouldn't wake up. And I'm like slapping him in the face. I'm like, wake up, Dad. So I grab his phone because I didn't have a phone at the time. And I call my mom. I'm like, he's sleeping. He's changing the tires. She's like, what do you mean he's changing the tires? I'm like, he got like his friend's tires. And she's like, he don't have a friend with a car at Target, you know? So he literally was stealing someone's tires. Yeah, and then out of nowhere, I see a light all around. I'm looking around, and I don't know where it's cops. And they keep saying, driver's seat, get out. But he's knocked out. They're like, get out of the driver's seat. Get out. And then he wouldn't get out because he's asleep. So I opened my door. And they're like, get back in the car. We didn't say passenger, get out. We said driver, get out. And I'm like, I'm trying to get out to tell them, like, my dad's, you know? And I don't know where there's, like, little lasers or whatever. And then they're like, oh, no, put it down. It's a kid. So then I get out, and then they come running at me. And they're like, who's in the car with you? Do you know that man? Did he touch you? Did he rape you? I'm like, no, that's my dad. Like, what?
Were you confused?
Yeah, I was so confused. Like, what's going on? He's getting tires from his friend, and he's stealing that was someone that worked at Target's car. Yeah, so the person that he was stealing the tires from worked at Target.
And called the cops.
Yeah.
Was it like in pure daylight?
No, it was night. It was like 8 at night.
So someone probably saw something sketchy and they called the cops.
Because he had the car lifted and everything. He was like chasing.
He's all pro at it.
Yeah.
He was determined. He's like, I'm getting new tires today.
No, we drove on flat tires to Target too. So we drove there, and then like they're like, "Who is that? You sure you know that man?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's my dad." And they kept asking if he raped me. I'm like, "No, that's my dad, you know." And then they're like, what is he on?" And I'm like, "Oh, Xanny bars and Somas." I knew what he was on. I was like, "He's on Xanny bars and Somas." I thought it was normal, you know. And they're like, "He's on drugs?" I was like, "Yeah, that's his medicine." Because that's what he would tell me, like, "It's my medicine." So then, like, he gets arrested. He, like, starts shaking on the floor like a seizure almost.
How did he wake up?
He didn't. They put him in the ambulance. Yeah, he, like, wasn't waking up. He's, like, shaking on the floor when they pull him out the car. And then they put him in the ambulance. And then my mom had to pick us up. And then she picked me up. She's like, "Oh, my God, I'm so sorry. You should have went with him." And then, and then he didn't go to jail till, like, a year later, though. Because it, like, took time in court. Like, he was, like, fighting court cases. And then he ended up going to jail for, like, 2 years for, like, neglect and DUI, I think, yeah. And then he went to jail, and then my mom went crazy. She shaved her head bald. Like, her head was bald. She was going crazy. We didn't have power in our house for 6 months. Like, we were in the dark for, like, 6 months. She was a stay-at-home mom. She refused to get a job. She was like, "I'm not getting a job. Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom." She wouldn't pay the bills. We're just in the house waiting for my dad to get out of jail to pay the bills.
During that time, like, was your mom still on drugs?
Yeah.
Or she kind of
She was literally having sex with the meth plug to get free meth. And she would leave me and my sister in the dark. So we'll be at home in the dark. I can't charge my phone because ain't no power in the house. And she would literally go and sleep in the meth plug house. And then I would take baths with my sister in the dark. Because we were scared to take showers. I think we wouldn't even take showers. We'd take baths together. Because we were so scared of being in the bathroom in the dark alone. Like, we didn't have power.
During that time, did you ever, like, confide it in someone what was going on at home? Like, maybe, like, a school teacher, a friend, or anyone?
I feel like that's when I was, like, talking to this boy very young. And I was like, "I'm in love with him. We're going to get married and have babies." I was very much the Lulu. I don't know. That was, like, my safe spot at the time. Even though he, like, obviously was not the one. But, yeah, I really didn't have friends at that time.
How do you feel, you know, obviously going through that at 12 years old must have been a very traumatic, you know, experience.
Well, that was at, like, when that happened, I was like 13.
13, but that's still very young, you know, for someone that age to experience and see your dad in that way and seeing the cops pointing lasers at you. How do you feel like that moment, you know, traumatized you or affected you?
I didn't know what was going on. I was like, my dad, he tells me, you know, this is his medicine. Like, this is normal. He'll take me on his drug runs. And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm hanging out with my dad." I thought it was very much normal, you know? And then when I talk to my friends about it, they'll be like, "Girl, are you living like Shameless?" You know how the show Shameless? That's what my friends would always say. Like, your life is like Shameless, you know? I don't know. I felt very much like I wish I had guidance in life. I feel like I wish I had guidance. I wish I had structure. I wish my parents were more like parents, you know? Like, show me something, teach me something. I taught myself hygiene. I taught myself everything. I taught myself about menstrual cycles. Like, they didn't teach me not a thing. I taught myself everything. I feel like I raised myself at that point because they were just, they stopped parenting, literally.
Would you go visit your dad in jail?
No.
Like, so you guys had,
my
like,
mom
zero
wouldn't even let me talk to
communication.
him.
What was it like, you know, obviously 2 years later, he comes out of jail. What was that relationship
like? It was really
like?
weird because he went in there very much skinny on drugs, and then he came out with, like, a belly. I was like, "Who are you?" And then he came out, and then he was like, "I believe in God," when he never believed in God, which was very strange. And he like, "I'm gonna go get baptized," and then he stopped doing drugs. And he was like a whole different man. I was like, "Who is this guy? Like, you do drugs, you know?" And then he was like a whole new man. And then he came out with like some tattoos or whatever. And then he was very much changed, but my mom was very much the same because she was still like doing the same stuff. So I feel like they kind of switched roles, if that makes sense.
Did they get back together?
No. So my mom found out he cheated on her. She was driving me to school. And then basically, like, she stole his phone. And then she's going through his phone. She's driving. And then she's like, "This motherfucker's cheating on me." And this is when I was freshman year of high school. We were driving. And then she's like, "He's cheating on me. He's cheating on me." I'm like, "What? Like, he's not cheating on you. You're Lulu." And then this is when they thought the car was tapped. So we weren't allowed to talk in the car. She's like, "Shut up. Like, the FBI's listening to us." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" You know? So then I'm like going through the phone. And then there's like all these girls. He's sleeping with the neighbors. Mm-hmm. And,
So,
like, my mom was loyal, you know?
As a little girl and hearing that your parents, you know, aside from all the drugs, now you're hearing them having,
Now they're going to get a divorce.
What was that like for you?
I don't know. I didn't believe it. I was like, my dad would never cheat. My dad loves my mom. Like, he would never do that to her, you know? Even, like, when he hits her, like, I thought he loved her so much, you know? That's when everything went downhill. When she found that out, it was, like, horrible. They weren't together, and then they started doing drugs hardcore. And it was so bad. I just remember I was like, what is going on? And then everyone in my high school was talking about it, and I had no friends in high school. They thought like my family was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh.
After living a very traumatic life at 14 years old, you move out and you start kind of, hopping from a friend to a friend. What made you, or at what moment were you like, you know what, I've had enough. I am 14 years old. I am going to run away or leave my house and I'm not turning back. What was that like for you?
So basically, my mom was like not going to take me to school. She's like, I'm not taking you to school because my school is like 30 minutes away. She's like, you need to either do like Primavera, which is like online school, or you're not going to school. And I was like, I want to go to school. Like, I want friends. I want to have a life. Like, I don't want to just stay home and like take care of your daughter, take care of what's going on here, you know? So I met a friend, and then her grandma let me move in with them. I moved in with them, and basically she enrolls me in school, and I start going to school over there. That's when my dad was in jail, and I felt like I left my sister there because my sister is just now with my mom, and she's very young. So I was like, dang, now I just left my sister all alone with my mom. But I wanted to do school. Like, I didn't want to be a nobody, you know? I wanted to continue doing high school. And my mom just wanted me to drop out so bad.
Was that like a hard decision for you to take? Obviously, you leave your sister and you're like, you know what? I want to look out for my sister. I want my sister to be okay, but I also got to save myself.
Yeah.
It's a very tough decision, especially at 14 years old, to take. How do you feel like you were able to navigate that? And also, what do you feel like were the hardest things that you had to go through now living on your own?
Well, I felt very much alone, I feel like. But it was so hard leaving my sister because she was so little. But I was like, I'm not her mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to do what I got to do for me. So I moved out. And then I feel like when it would be my birthday, I would just cry on my birthday. Like, when I turned 15, I was like, I'm all alone. I have no mom. I have no dad. I don't talk to my little sister. I felt so lonely. I just remember, like, I felt like I had no one when I moved out. I was like, I'm so lonely. And then me and the girl, we got in an argument. I had to go live with someone else. And that's when I started house shopping. Like, who can I live with? Because I can't live with my mom, you know? It was so bad.
Did you ever experience any, like, scary experiences during that time, like, living on your own?
Sometimes I thought, I was like, oh my God, am I going to be homeless? Like, can I live with you? Can I stay here or not? Some parents would not be like, we can't just have her here this many days. She can only stay here for a couple nights, you know? Like, not everyone just wants to let someone come into their home, you know?
And I feel like especially, parents of your friends, they were maybe like, oh my God, what if her parents show up? What if like CPS or the cops show up looking for us? We can get in trouble.
Yeah, that's what someone said before. Like, we can get in trouble taking you in. I'm like, but like, where am I supposed to go?
You're like, girl, my parents don't care. Like,
no, I can literally walk out the door at like 10. At 3 a.m., they wouldn't care.
Would your mom, like, after you moved out, obviously you were doing your thing, did she like try looking for you, or was it kind of like, all right, do your thing?
She's like, go. I literally was like, I'm moving out. She's like, okay, have fun. She didn't care at all. I can be like, okay, I'm leaving. She'd be like, okay, bye, have fun. You can come back, but like, I didn't want to come back, you know? It was so toxic there. Like, there's holes all in my walls. Our house had roaches. It was so gross. I hated being there. I remember one time I was like in 3rd grade. I think I was like 4th grade, 3rd grade. And I put my backpack on the desk at school. And then a roach comes out. In front of the whole class, I hit the roach and the roach goes flying. And then I'm like, and then the whole class is like, oh my God, there's a roach. I'm like, ew, that's like disgusting. Whose roach is that? I'm like,
it's all yours. Y'all brought the whole fucking roach colony.
No.
You all brought you're like, hello, I brought my pets to class today.
No, I was so embarrassed. But like, our house was so infested as a kid. I hated being there. I was like, not me bringing roaches to class.
And blaming them on someone else. Yes.
I would have like, ew, who brought a roach?
You're like, ew, that's disgusting. Who doesn't clean their house? It's all
literally,
you.
it's from me, guys.
I'm like, if you're watching this, my old classmates, it was I.
You're like, I knew it was her.
You're like, I fucking knew it. I saw it coming out of her fucking bag. She was just trying so hard to hide it. How's your relationship with your parents now? Obviously, you're older now. You've matured. How would you describe your relationship with them? If it's gotten better, what was that turning point for you? And also, how do you navigate closure and resentment, especially, after everything that they put you through?
Well, I feel like no matter what, I would always love, like, my mom and dad. No matter, like, they put me through a lot, but I still always love my parents, But I feel like it just shaped me to be a better mom. Like, I would not go near drugs. I only drink on occasions. I don't smoke. I'm like, I don't want that near me, you know? I don't want to be with that. So I don't really talk to them that much. Like, occasionally my mom will text me on Snapchat. I'll text her back. But, like, they don't come see my kids, really. They only met my kids, like, my mom and my son, like, once. My dad, I don't really talk to him.
Is your mom still on drugs or no?
No, they're both not on drugs no more. My dad, he's on medication for his, like, mental. And it makes him, like, normal. So now he's a lot more normal, but he's, like, a zombie now. Because, like, the medication makes him numb, I feel like. But he is normal now. My mom's also normal now, but she's, like, she's not normal. I lied. She's not normal. She's more, like, schizophrenia.
Like panicking, yeah, schizophrenic.
She talks to herself out loud. She draws on everything. And she's very much, like, in her head. Like, you can't talk to her. Like, she's in her head. I really don't like her coming around the kids because she'll talk about, like, sex. She'll talk about, like, anything in front of my little kids. I'm like, please go away. Like, you know?
Do your kids ever ask for them?
No.
Oh, so
They
they're
really
not
don't know
even part
them.
of their life at all.
Yeah.
They're probably, like, strangers to them.
Yeah, like, they don't. They, like, when they come, they're just like, you know. But, like, not like mom, grandma, grandpa, or that's what they're called?
Yeah. You're like, is that what they are? I don't fucking know. You're like, they weren't even parents to me. No.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy, but it's also good for you that you've taken this bad experience and, you know, have decided that you were, because I always like to say, I am a big believer in, you know, you can have a bad childhood, but it's up to you whether you want to continue that cycle or if you don't want, or break it, you know, and obviously you've chosen to break it. You've known since very little that's not the life and the path you wanted for yourself.
Right.
And as a mother, you know, obviously you've decided to do things different. What are things as a mother that you know, prioritize to give your kids that you feel like you didn't have from your parents?
I feel like I would never go near drugs, for one. I would never, ever go near drugs. I feel like I just want to be with my husband forever. I don't like arguing in front of my kids either. That's one thing me and my husband don't do. If we have a disagreement, we're going to go in the other room and we're going to talk. We're not going to yell in front of the kids. Like, let's go in the other room and talk like adults. You know what I'm saying? I hate arguing in front of my kids because they'll be like, stop, no, you know. I don't like doing that because and I see me as a kid. I'm like, oh my gosh, mom, stop, dad, stop. And it scares me, like triggers like the little version in me. So I do not like arguing in front of my kids. I just want to be, I don't know, the best mom I can be, you know?
What is something that you wish younger you could have heard, or what's a piece of advice, you know, you can give to anyone watching, whether they're a kid, an adult that has gone or is going through something similar with parents that are struggling with addiction?
I feel like it always gets better no matter how bad it seems. I always just tell myself someone has a worse life. Like, there's kids out there getting sex trafficked. There's kids out there getting taken from their families. And I always just tell myself, no matter how bad, like, my life was, like, it gets better. Like, I feel like now I have such a great life. I have my husband, I have my kids. You know, I do social media. There's, like, my life got so good. No matter how bad it was, it got so much better. So just keep going. You know, don't let it push you down. Don't let it do you something bad. Like, I know some people be trying to, like, harm themselves. And just keep going no matter what.
I love that because, you know, like I mentioned earlier, I'm very big on, as kids, whether you're going through something, it's so easy to like fall into that cycle.
Yeah.
But it's so good when you decided, like, when you recognize the bad and you recognize, like, okay, this was my life. This is what I lived. This is my truth. But that's not what I want for my future. You know what I mean? And I'm happy that you were able to see that and not want to carry on with that. You know, I want to talk a little bit about love.
Okay.
You know, at 16 years old, you meet your husband, which is the father of your 3 kids. Tell us more about that. How did you guys meet each other? Who made the first move? How did you guys make it official?
So basically, I went to my first party ever. This was like when I was in my YOLO phase. I was like, I don't care what I'm doing. Like, someone can tell me to jump off a bridge, I would probably do it. So I went to my first party, and then he was just standing there. And he was new to Arizona. He just moved to Arizona. And basically, one of his coworkers just invited him to go to the party because he knew nobody. And I was like, who is that, like, mysterious man? And I made the first move. I went over there. I was like, oh, like, what's your name? Da-da-da-da. And then he got my Snapchat, and that's kind of how we started talking. So he would text me all the time on Snapchat. And then that's when we started talking. We'll FaceTime and sleep on the phone. And he lived an hour away because I lived in, like, Surprise at the time. He lived in, like, Chandler, which was, like, a whole hour away from each other. And he was like, just come live with me. I was like, huh?
So
Yeah,
you're like,
but he had
oh
his own
fuck, I need a
apartment.
house.
Yeah.
You're like, perfect.
No, yeah.
My guardian fucking angel. Yeah.
So he like just come live because he was picking me up every weekend, and I was there at his house the whole week. So he was like, "Why don't you just come live with me?" And I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, because I will. I'm just kidding. But then he like let me move in, and it was like very much weird. 'Cause I never lived with a boy. So that at first I low-key wanted to leave. I was like, "Wait, this is awkward." I remember one time I got high, and then we were like hanging out, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing here?" Like, why am I living with this man I barely know? And then I was like, okay, maybe it's because I'm just high. So then, like, I just kept living with him, and then we were, like, really good. Like, we were, like, you know? And then I ended up finding out. We went to, like, a penthouse party. We went to a Halloween party, and then after that Halloween party, we basically found out I was pregnant. And we were, like, only dating for, like, 4 or 5 months. But
How
we
did
were
that happen?
talking
How did
for,
you
like,
guys find
8
out?
months. So I was, like, throwing up the next morning. I was like, probably from my hangover. And then I was, like, looked at my app. I was like, wait, I haven't had a period in a month. And I was like, wait, what? You know? So then I took a test, and I'm like in the bathroom, and I'm like, I look at it, and I was like, it said positive. And I was like, oh, heck no. So I sat in there for an hour crying. I didn't even want to go tell him. I was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant at 17.
What was going on in your head?
Oh my God, I was like freaking out. Like, am I supposed to go call my mom, my dad? Like, I have no one, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, is he the one? I was like panicking. It was so scary. 'Cause I'm a little girl, you know? So then I call my sister first. I tell her, and she's like, oh my God, yay, you're pregnant.
Like, I'm an aunt. Yeah. She's all hyped.
She's happy. She's like in class in like 6th grade or something, 7th grade. And then I call my mom, and she's like, you better abort that baby. Like, you need to kill that baby. Like, you barely been with this man. Like, you need to abort that baby. And I was like, you know what, block. And I blocked her because how are you going to tell me? I didn't know what I wanted, you know, but I didn't want people to put like inputs on me, you know? So then I, like, tell him, he's like, it's up to you. Like, if you want to keep this baby, we can keep this baby. Like, I'm going to support you. And I was like, okay, you know. So then I, like, really thought about it. And I was like, I never really felt like I could ever do an abortion. Like, I just can't do it, you know? Like, I don't care what other people do, but me personally, I just can't have an abortion. I'm too sensitive, you know? I'm a Cancer. So I was like,
Like, you know, tell us a little bit more about your pregnancy overall. You know, we were talking about you get pregnant the day after the Halloween party or the day of the Halloween party. What was it?
I found out the day after.
After. Okay, so you find out the day after. How do you describe your pregnancy? Do you feel like you had a smooth pregnancy? Did you have any complications? And how did becoming a first-time mom changed your perspective on life and just your life in general?
So I feel like my pregnancy, I was always just alone and crying. It was very much a sad pregnancy. But after I gave birth, it was like amazing. I was like, oh my God, look at this little baby. I loved her. And then that's when my man became like a man finally. And then it was so good. I loved being a mom. I remember I was working 2 jobs. I was working Walmart in the day and then Albertsons at night. I felt so sad because I was always leaving her at home. Like, I want my baby. And then he let me become a stay-at-home mom with our second daughter. But I love being a mom. I feel like because I didn't really have a mom, I just love being that mom figure. I'm such a mom. Everyone that I hang out around, they're like, girl, like, hang out with us. You're being a mom right now. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Do you feel like you're almost healing your inner child being a mom?
Yes, I do. I feel like every time I'm with my girls, especially, I like do their hair. I'm like, my mom never done this. Or I like do something with them. I'm like, I wish my mom did this with me, you know?
I am a big believer in that because I was actually having a conversation with one of my friends not too long ago. I want to say like maybe 2 weeks, but she was kind of telling me about, you know, her relationship with her mom, how she feels like her mom, you know, prefers her sister, how she feels like she's kind of like looked down on, or how she feels like her mom doesn't love her. And one of the advice I gave my friend, I was like, look, friend, I get it. We're always seeking for people to love us. We're always seeking for our parents' approval. But now you as a mom, she's a mom too. I was like, you as a mom, like, fuck that. If you already know that your mom's not going to change, if you already know you're not going to get that love you're searching for, now as a mom, you can heal that inner child
do it for your
by
daughter.
giving that to your kids and never making them feel the way that your parents made you feel. And I feel like maybe you went through that too, where you're like, wow, like I had a shitty ass childhood, but I'm gonna make sure that my kids don't have to go through anything that I went through.
Yes. I feel like when I became a mom, sometimes I'll catch myself yelling and then remind me of my mom. I'm like, oh, wait, trigger. Like, I do not want to be like her. Calm down, breathe, you know, because she would always be screaming and yelling. I just want to be like very much calm.
Like calm, I need peace. I love that though. I feel like sometimes, I feel like, you know what? Like, I feel like the best reward in life, and I feel like just the best thing you can do for yourself, or the best thing you can obtain in life, is peace. You know, I want to talk about your second pregnancy. You give birth to your first, shortly after you become pregnant again. Tell us a little bit more about your second pregnancy. How did you find out? How did you react? You know, how was the pregnancy overall? Did you struggle? Did you have complications? Tell us all about it.
So basically, one day my man was like, "You should take a pregnancy test." I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "You're pregnant." And he like kept telling me I was pregnant. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Did you have symptoms or no?
No. I was like, he's like, "I just have a feeling you're pregnant." So like, I went to the dollar store, grabbed like the little dollar test. I took a pregnancy test, and I'm like with my little daughter. She's like 1. She's like crawling still, and I was like, "Okay." She's sitting there. I'm like, "It's positive," you know. And then my man, he was so happy. And I was like, kind of not. I was like, wait, I got to be pregnant again, you know?
You're like, I just gave birth. Not
Yeah.
too long. Well, your daughter was very young too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, wait, you know? But my last pregnancy, when I gave birth, it was very smooth. Like my water broke. I gave birth. I went from a 3 to a 10 and gave birth with no epidural. Like it was painful, but it was like a good little pregnancy, you know? Like the birth experience, you know?
Yeah.
So then with her, when I gave birth to my second daughter, my man was happy. I started to become happy, like, after I realized, okay, I am pregnant, you know? I was like, now we're really about a family. Like, it's going to be 2 little kids. It's going to be an actual family.
Of 4, yeah.
When I gave birth, it was like, oh my gosh. I gave birth, and out of nowhere, I hemorrhaged. And, like, the doctor was literally, I don't know if you know what they do when you hemorrhage.
Wait, what is that? First of all, for me and for those of you guys that don't know, explain what that is and what you were feeling.
So, basically, I gave birth. I was on an epidural, so I really didn't feel me pushing. Like, I gave birth. And then I hemorrhage, and that means, like, you just won't stop bleeding. Like, all the blood is just dripping off of the table.
Like, nonstop.
Yeah, like, where you can just die. And I was like, all the blood was, like, literally dripping on the floor.
And what do doctors do in that moment?
Oh, my gosh. This is, like, so embarrassing to say. But they literally have to, like...
Like, taparte?
Yeah, they have
almost?
To, like... They, like, punch you a bunch of times.
Did you feel that? Or
Oh, my, it was so painful. I was bruised everywhere. And then she was like punching me and punching me and punching me. I was like, what is going on? I'm crying. And now nowhere, like all the nurses come running in. They're like shooting me with needles and shots. I'm crying. There's blood everywhere. My man, he had to leave the room with the baby. Well, not with the baby. The baby, I think, was like on the little bed thing. And then he had to leave because he like is like really bad with blood. He'll pass out. So he had to leave. And then I'm just, or I think he was like sitting in the corner or something. But in my uterus. So they put a balloon inside of me filled with water or something to stop the bleeding, and then I had to get like 3 to 4 or 5 bags of blood, and then I couldn't hold my baby. They put me on like all these drugs. I was like drugged out. I like couldn't hold her for hours.
Could have been like a possibility of you passing away during birth?
They said if the blood wouldn't stop in time, then I would have passed away. Yeah, so it was really scary. I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy like they made it stop though, you know?
How was the recovery for that?
Yeah, so basically I had to stay in the hospital for like 4 to 5 days with the, like, I had the balloon in my uterus for 24 hours.
And you would physically feel the balloon?
Yeah, it was like heavy. So yeah, you feel it in you. It's very much heavy, filled with water. And it's like you can't move or anything, you know? I had to keep like the pee catheter in because you can't get up and pee. It was very much painful. They were giving me Percocets for the pain. And you don't really even get Percocets for C-sections.
Yeah.
So they were giving me Percocets. I was in there for a while. And then when I went home, I literally couldn't bend or do anything. I was in so much pain. But like, I don't know. It was so traumatic. I was so scared to get. And then when I got pregnant again, I thought I was going to die. I was like, should I just get an abortion this time?
like, should this have been it?
For real, I was like, oh my gosh, I might die giving birth to this new baby.
How was your third pregnancy? Do you feel like you had any complications, or was it smooth? Or were you on edge the whole time?
So with my girls, I threw up every day. And then with him, I didn't throw up at all. I don't know if it's because it's a boy. I only have one boy, but with my son, I didn't throw up at all. It was a really good pregnancy. I felt like I wasn't even pregnant. Like, he was just in there chilling the whole time. And then I had to give birth, and then I did hemorrhage again. But it wasn't as bad because they were, like, I told them I hemorrhaged, like, last time. So they had everything in the room waiting for me to hemorrhage. Like, they were prepared. Yeah, so, like, I hemorrhaged, and they hurried to give me the balloon. They hurried to give me the shots, everything. But because, like, last time they had to go grab everything. Yeah. I'm over here just, like, bleeding out.
Like, you could have died when they were going to go get the stuff.
And it took forever to get it. They were, like, very much slow. I had, like, new nurses in the room. I'm like, oh, yeah, don't ever give me a new nurse again.
Postpartum depression is something that is very common, but isn't talked about enough. You know, do you feel like you struggled with any postpartum depression with any of your 3 pregnancies?
I feel like my first pregnancy.
In what way?
I just feel like I was always I felt ugly. I felt sad. I felt like I didn't even know who I was anymore because I went from being a teenager to being a mom. And now, like, look at myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, I look at my body. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many changes. And I just, like, you know, you can't leave the house anymore. Like, I used to leave the house whenever I wanted. I used to do so many things whenever I wanted. Now
like
I have a
freedom.
little baby. Yeah, no more freedom. Especially now that I have 3 kids, you know?
You're like, this is your freedom, babes.
Yeah,
You're
right,
being
I'm on a
here.
podcast.
This is her vacation.
No, for real. But it was just very much hard going from like a teen. I was 17 to a mom. So it was like, it was hard, you know? It was like adjusting. Like I loved being a mom, but it was like, I never even had a mom to teach me how to be a mom. So I was like, I have to figure all this out.
Did you have anyone, you know, at that time that you were able to be like, hey, I'm going through this, I'm feeling this way, you know, I don't even like how I look, I feel this way. Did you have anyone to support you during that time?
I had no friends. I had literally no friends. The only person I'll talk to is like, no one. No one. I wouldn't talk to no one at all. That's what made me start doing social media. I had no friends. I was like, I'm going to make some friends, okay? I had no friends at all.
You know, now that you're a mom of 3, how is life being a mom of 3 now? And how important is it for you now as a mom of 3 to create a safe space for all your babies?
I feel like it's light work now. I'm such a mom. Now I got like all 3. Everyone thinks like, they'll comment my social, oh my God, 21 with 3 kids. That's crazy. But I'm like over here being a better mom than a 30-year-old mom.
Yeah.
Like it does. Don't have kids young, y'all. But what I'm saying is, like, there's moms out there older than me, and I'm a better mom than them. I have my kids, and, like, I don't know. I feel like it's not hard for me. A lot of people be like, 3 kids is a lot. It's so hard. But for me, I got it in the bag.
What's your day like, you know, as a mom of 3? You know, you wake up, do breakfast. What does a typical day look like for you?
So, basically, I wake up, I change diapers right away. I wake up, I change my kids' diapers, I make a bottle. And that's the first thing I have to do. I have to change diapers immediately. And then that's when we wake up, do our teeth and stuff. And then I'll make breakfast. And then usually we'll just chill for a little bit because my kids are very much chill. Like, they just want to lay down in the morning. And I'll post that and people be like, wow, you're letting them watch TV at 8 a.m.? Yes, I am. I'm sorry. Like, you know? So I'll let them watch TV or whatever. And then usually they just play all day. And then we'll do some like learning. I always put on learning videos. And then my baby, he's very much chill. I'm trying to teach him how to crawl. And basically I just make breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then repeat every day.
I love
like
it.
On repeat.
It's kind of like a schedule. I feel like once you have that schedule, you know, I've heard a lot. Obviously, I can't relate because I'm not a parent.
Right.
But I feel like, you know, I've heard from a lot of friends that are parents. It's like, as long as you have a schedule and you keep your kids on a schedule, you know, it gets easier as time goes by.
They know what to do. Like, they're like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that. And they know what to do when they wake up. Like, they know where to go sit. They know where to go lay down. Like, my kids are really good.
What is one thing that surprises you about your kids? Like, as a mom, you're like, what the hell? Like, I'm wowed. Like, I can't believe, like, you're doing this or you're doing that. What's something that surprises you about your kids?
So my oldest daughter, she'll just talk to me and we'll have, like, full-on conversations. I'll be like, how are you this smart? Like, how do you know that? And she's like, I know this from that. I'm like, she'll have, like, conversations with me, and I'm like, this little girl is getting so big. She's so smart. She knows her whole ABCs, and she's 3.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she's so smart. I don't know. And then my other daughter, she's 2, and she'll just be talking to me. I'm like, how do you talk like a whole grown little woman? Like, she talks so grown.
They're very smart then.
Yeah, they're very smart. My 2-year-old, she talks like Peppa Pig, though. She'd be like, Mommy.
She's like,
it's
she's
so
all Peppa.
Cute.
She's all the voice of Peppa Pig. Imagine.
Yeah, she's like a little British little girl. I'm like, who are you?
Does it make you happy, you know, looking back at your childhood, at the life that you had with your parents? Do you ever have like moments where you sit back and you're like, wow, I can't believe this is my life?
Yeah, I feel like ever since I was young, I always wanted to be a mom. I feel like you shouldn't want to be a mom at like 12 and 10 and, you know, all these age or whatever. But I always wanted to be a mom, and then I feel like once I become a mom, I'm like, I'm the best mom ever. Like, I wish I was my own mom.
Yeah.
Like, I'm such a cool mom, you know? I don't know.
You should be proud of yourself because, you know, like I said, you know, a lot of people, like, the repeating the cycle is so easy. It's so freaking easy. And I'm glad that you chose not to repeat it. You know, we're talking about social media, about how when you were going through postpartum, it was kind of around the time when you started doing social media. Tell us a little bit more about that. How did that start? What made you be like, you know what? I'm fucking tired of being sad. I'm going to pick up my phone. I'm going to start recording myself. And, you know, how did you pick the name Mama Lulu? Tell us all about that.
Okay, so basically, Well, I did watch this one mom. Her name is Mama C. That's the only mom that ever inspired me to like make content. I remember if you scroll down on my social media, you can find me being an 18-year-old stay-at-home mom, 19-year-old stay-at-home mom. I did delete a lot of videos because they were very much cringy, but there is still some of me being very young, you know? But she inspired me to start doing little videos, and hers was Mama C, you know? I was like, okay, that's cute. So, you know, I used my name Lulu and put Mama Lulu. I was like, that's cute or whatever. So she was my inspo, and then basically I was like, I want to make content, but she only made like cooking videos. I was like, I want to show the whole deal, you know? I want to show me waking up, doing all of this. So I wanted to make it my own, and then I started doing story times. And then I feel like that's when I started going viral, do like story times, and then be like, I don't know, I'll like wake up, my phone blowing up. I'm like, what? You know? No, wait, actually the first video that went viral was me giving birth to my son. Like my first like viral video as a mom, because I had other viral videos, but like that was my first mom viral video.
How did you feel at that moment? You're like, oh my fucking God.
I edited it while I was in the labor room. And I edited it, and then I literally posted it. I woke up in the birth room or labor room. I woke up, and then I'm like, babe, look at my phone. And it's already at like 200,000 likes in one night. I was like, this is insane, you know?
Did that motivate you to keep going?
Oh, every day I post it. I never missed a day. And then I was like viral every video, every day. I was like, oh my God, I'm famous now. And then I like started seeing money come in. I was like, I just got like $1,000 from one video.
You know what I love about you though? I love how open you are about that, because I remember when I first started following, you were literally telling your girlies, you're like, hey, I make this much fucking money.
Yeah,
y'all can too.
You can make money.
Yes.
No, some of my videos would literally make $1,000 every video.
I love that.
Like,
how did
y'all
that
do a
feel?
story time. Oh, so good.
You're like, fucking good.
I be telling my
amazing.
man, I'm like, you can be a stay-at-home dad. I post on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, like Snapchat, everywhere. You're getting paid everywhere.
One thing I feel like works so well for you, and I feel like, you know, for your story times, you're doing your story times while physically they're seeing you live your life as a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And I feel like those type of videos do so good, because I'm like trying to focus on what you're saying. I'm so intrigued with your story time, but then I'm like seeing you fucking clean.
Yeah.
I'm seeing you like pack lunch for your kids, like whatever it is you're doing. And it's like you're making the audience having to interact in two different ways, but still keeping them like, bitch, I need to be looking at the whole video or else I'm gonna miss something, but the story time is so juicy.
Right.
You do such a good, how did that come to be? Like, what made you be like, you know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna be different. I'm not gonna sit my ass down and tell my story face to face.
Right.
What made you pick that way?
So I feel like I started doing the cleaning videos, and then I was like, nobody wants to watch a cleaning video of you explaining what you're cleaning.
Yeah.
That's so boring. Like, now I'm cleaning the couch, now I'm cleaning the living room. Like, no one cares. So like, I'm gonna be interesting. I'm gonna tell them my life. That's why I wanted to come on here. Like, I can tell my life on here, you know?
Yes.
So like, I'm just gonna tell story times, and I didn't see any other mom do story times at that time. Like, I'm not saying I started it. There probably was other moms that did it, but I'd never seen another mom do story times, cleaning up. So I started doing it, and then boom, I was going viral. I was like, okay, they love the story time, so I just kept sticking with it. And then I do want to bring up how people think I like to show like just my back, or you know. And then, you know how I told you I have, like, the face phobia?
Yeah.
Like, every time I look in the mirror, y'all, I feel like, I don't like my face. And not because I want to show my back or anything like that. Also, I was born with muscular dystrophy. Did I ever tell you that?
I did see your stories about that. Tell us a little bit more about that if you don't mind.
Oh, my gosh. So, it's so... I feel like, okay, that's like the only sensitive topic that makes me like sad or whatever. I have a 2-story house, and I barely record upstairs because I can barely walk up there. It takes me like 5 minutes to get up the stairs.
Does your like muscles hurt, or what exactly is it?
If physically my muscles are like weak, and only my legs, like my arms I feel like are normal, but like my legs, I had a muscle biopsy and I was diagnosed at the age of 2. And then I couldn't walk till I was like 3. And then my mom was like, something's wrong with this girl. All my other kids can walk, you know? So I was diagnosed, and then I would like, can't run. I couldn't walk. The PE teacher was like, something's wrong with your kid, you know? And then I couldn't do a lot of things that like normal people can do. Like, I can't even bend down with my knees.
Do people bully you online for that? Because I did see your story recently because you addressed it. Was it like your first time addressing it on your story?
Yes, because they were saying how I waddle when I walk. Someone commented it, and then like it had like 100 likes, and I deleted it because it made me mad. But it was like, she waddles when she walks, and I'm like, babe, I literally had to teach myself how to walk straight because I used to like walk really funny. So I would get bullied in school for it. They'd be like, I'll get picked last every time in PE. Like, oh my God, don't pick her. She can't run. She's not fast. And I feel like a lot of people don't know that. But everyone that went to school with me knows that. They even slid up on my story like, it's okay, girl, you're still a baddie. I'm like, girl, bye. You used to bully me.
You were my bully. You know what's so crazy? I did see that because I did even see, someone, you went to camp or did I read wrong? You went to a therapy camp?
Dystrophy camp.
Okay, yeah. You went to like is it like therapy kind?
No, so basically just so you can hang out with kids that are like you. But then when I went there, I realized, like, I am so thankful for what muscular dystrophy I do have because there was kids there in wheelchairs. Like, they were mainly in wheelchairs. There was, like, 5 other kids that were like me, like, that can still walk and look normal. Like, obviously, I look normal. So everyone there, they're in wheelchairs. And I just, like, I'm so thankful for what muscular dystrophy I do have. If you have muscular dystrophy as, like, a boy, you do not live long. Like, I think they only make it to, like, 18. And I remember there was a boy, and I went there every summer for, like, 4 or 5 years. And then there was a boy, and then, like, me and him were friends. And I went the next year, and then he passed away. And it was so sad. I was like, where is he? His name was Ethan. I was like, where's Ethan? Like, he's supposed to be here. And then he was gone. It was so sad. And then when she slid up on my story, I was like, oh my God, you went with me? Like, that's so cool. You watch me now?
I did see that. I saw that, comment, which I thought was, first of all, I feel like no one should ever have to explain themselves anything because I do feel, I did see your story. You addressed it because you were getting comments about that. People were coming at you like, oh my God, she walks, she waddles, whatever. And then I saw the comment of, that person that went with you. And I'm like, okay, not that you need anyone to like back you up, but at least it was like a look,
they
bitches.
Thought I was lying.
I ain't lying.
Why would I lie about having a disease? Like, but you know what's crazy? You know Gypsy Rose? My mom used to try to put me in a wheelchair. Obviously I can walk. She used to try to make me pretend it was worse to get money. Yeah, like, girl, what is, like, it's so crazy, y'all, and I would not do it. Like, we'll go to the doctor, she's like, just make your waddle a little more worse. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. She's like, just do it. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, And she was trying to make me, like, more worse than what I was.
To get, like, government help, maybe?
Yeah, no, to get money, like, and then one time she had me walk around the neighborhood and raise money for muscular dystrophy, and she took the money.
For her drugs?
Yeah. I thought I was really doing it. I was so happy. I was like, I'm going to raise money. I was so happy. And I was like, where's the money? Like, we got to go to there was like a
competition?
It was like in Tempe. It was like a place where like, who raised the most money? And she literally just spent all the money. I don't even think it was just her. It was like my dad. And I was like, what the heck?
You were also mentioning a little bit about, that people also come at you saying that you don't show a lot of your face because, you want to show your ass or you want to just film from your behind, and you were telling me before we started filming, you guys, you were telling me that you kind of, what was it? The phobia? What is it? It's like
okay, so ever since I became a mom, I don't even look in the mirror. It's so sad. It sounds like, oh, she's just making this up. But ask my sister, I literally will walk past the mirror, don't even look. I don't know. I feel like I just don't know what I look like anymore. And every time I look at myself, I don't like my face. It's not because I want to show my butt. Like when I film and edit my videos, I'm looking at my hair. I'm looking at make sure my house looks good. I'm like, okay, this is a cute video. I'm not looking at my butt. I don't ever even look at my butt,
Like you kind of almost edit around yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're paying attention about everything else, but not yourself.
It's an imaginary camera. That's what I think of when I'm filming. Like I just have an imaginary camera. I'm on a TV show making my little TV.
Or you're not even visible is what you kind of think.
Yeah, like I'm not, I don't even know there's a camera there. I'm just like doing what I'm doing. And then there is a lot of clips on my face, but I just like, I don't know. I just try to I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to look in the mirror more. My husband's trying to help me too. Before I came on the podcast, I was crying for 2 hours. I was like, I don't look good. I'm not going. I'm going to cancel it.
You're gorgeous, girl.
I was like, I'm going to cancel it. I don't like my face. I think my face is lopsided. And my husband's like, you look good. Like, you need to stop doubting yourself. You need to stop talking about yourself negatively. And I'm like, it's so hard. Like, I don't know. It's just so hard. Like, every time, people have bodies, like, when they look in the mirror, they're like, oh, I'm so fat, and they're really skinny. Yeah. I literally look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, my face looks horrible today.
You're a gorgeous girl.
Yeah.
And this is me being honest, but that doesn't take away from how you feel. I struggle with body dysmorphia. I used to weigh 321 pounds. I got weight loss surgery. I'm down to 165. But there's days where I eat so much that I feel so big. And, everyone around is like, oh, thank you. But see what I mean? It's like, like, it doesn't, I always like to say, like, yeah, I get it, but that doesn't mean I don't feel this way. You know what I mean? Like, there can be, you know, you're a gorgeous girl, but that doesn't take away that you feel a certain way. You know, you're telling us a little bit about that your husband even tells you and motivates you, like, come on, babe, like, you gotta, like, show your face more. Is there anything that you are personally doing that, you know, is for yourself that you're like, you know what, I want to do this to, you know, beat the fear or to stop thinking this way about myself? Is there anything you're doing? And if anyone else at home is struggling with anything similar, what would be something you would like to tell them?
I feel like as a stay-at-home mom, you wake up and you just tend to your children. Like, I don't do my makeup, I don't do my hair. And like today I have my makeup and hair on, I feel better, you know? I feel like that's what I need to start doing. I just need to take time for myself and wake up, do my hair, do my makeup, because I only feel confident filming my face, like looking cute, you know? Mostly when I film, I wake up and I film with a bare face on, I'm like looking away. I'm like, oh my God, I have no lashes on, I have no makeup on. Don't look at me, you know? But I feel like I just need to start doing my makeup more and being more confident. Like today I posted a TikTok on my face for the first time.
And you're like, yay! No, you guys, every time we're going to start seeing her face more, we're going to root for you even harder.
Yes, because I'm really trying. And each TikTok, you can slowly see like my face is more in it. Like I'm slowly working on it. I know a lot of people think I'm showing my butt. But if I wanted to show my butt, I would be in leggings or shorts.
You're like, girl, I would not be doing a stay-at-home mom content. I'd be doing OnlyFans. Like if I really wanted to show my ass.
No, literally, but I am working on it, and I feel like each video you guys will start to see my face more, and yeah.
Through your videos, I'm excited to start seeing you build your confidence. You know, I want to talk about the mommy content. Obviously, you know, making the type of content you do also exposes you a lot to, you know, the mommy shaming, the hate comments, like the all that, the copying, everything. How do you deal with all of that? You know, how do you deal with the mom shaming, the copying? What's your take on that?
Honestly, I feel like at the end of the day, we're all moms. We all make similar content. I know a lot of people be like, she's copying so-and-so, she's copying so-and-so. Like, I have a best friend, her name's Mama Paige, and she's like the queen of YouTube, okay? She owns YouTube. And I'll post like my videos on YouTube Shorts, and they're like, oh, you're copying Mama Paige. And then on TikTok, they'll go to her TikTok and be like, you're copying Mama Lulu. And the whole time we're best friends, and we're like, these people are so dumb. Like, we're not even whole time, I'll give her, like, ideas, and she'll, like, in her next video, she'll use the idea, and then she gives me ideas, and, like, the whole time we're really best friends in real life. But for the copying, I just want to say, a lot of people, like, my supporters will go on other people's channels and be like, you're copying Mama Lulu. And then sometimes they say, like, they'll text me and be like, I feel like I'm getting harassed by, like, your supporters. And then I'm like, I feel so bad because, like, I don't tell them to go do that, you know? Because I'll do a story time and then someone might do the same type of story time, but it's their version, you know? And I don't think that's copying. Like, we're all just moms making content. We all have very much similar lives. I don't know how you can copy being a mom and taking care of your kids. It don't make sense to me.
I think like social media also has become a place where a lot of people like just like to talk shit because fucking they have a mouth, and for a lot of people just stupid shit comes out of their mouths. And I'm glad that you and this person are friends, you know, but it also could have been a moment where it could have created this rivalry that
they
didn't need to be
had.
They did?
So there's these other girls, I'm not going to say their names, but they literally tried to like make us hate each other. I'm like, why are you trying to do that? Like, I'll make a video and then another girl make a video, and then they'd be like, trying to make us hate each other. I'm like, whole time? Like, I don't even know who she is. I've never seen her videos. And you're just adding me. I'm like, I don't even know this girl. Leave her alone.
That's literally social media. I feel like I always love to say misery loves company. And a lot of people, it's so easy too. I feel like sometimes, you know, I feel like if you're an old time follower, if you guys remember back in the day, you know, when me and Annette used to do a lot of videos, I have one of my best friends. I've known her for so long. We used to do a lot of content together, right? And a lot of people would always be in the comments, whether talking shit on me or talking shit on her, like, oh, you're this, you're that, or you're a bad friend, or you're this. I'm so glad that we never let that get in the way, affect us. But there was moments where we're like, are they right? But then we were like, bitch, they don't know what the fuck happens behind closed doors. They see their 10 little minute video and they go off with that, and that's not the case, you know. But I feel like sometimes it can get to you, and I'm glad it hasn't.
There have been times where like it has, but I just be like, we're just moms, okay? You can't copy a mom. Like, she's taking care of her kids, I'm taking care of my kids. Yes, we get inspired by each other. Like, it's not that serious.
How do you do with the mommy shaming? Like, oh my God, like you should not be doing that to
I
your
don't care.
kid. Do you get comments like that?
Yeah, and I don't care. You're not going to tell me how to raise
Period.
my kids. These are my kids. They're clean. They're bathed. They have a house. They're happy. Like, don't tell me how to raise my
A
kids.
lot of the time, the people that talk shit don't even have kids. They're kids themselves.
No, a lot of time I go to their page and their kid's in a diaper in a dirty house.
And you're like, babe, you're posting
Thank you.
that?
Yeah,
Thank
like-
you, next. Literally, next comment. You know, I want to talk about something that recently happened. We're talking about love. We talked about your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You recently got proposed and married.
Yes.
And I feel like you literally let that out so quick, like
I know,
nothing.
like,
So what is it called? Nonchalant?
Yeah.
Like you're like, I'm married, guys. Tell us more about that. How did you get proposed? How did you get married? Tell us all about that.
So basically, he was like, we're going to go. He kept throwing hints. He was like, we're going to go to this fancy restaurant. I'm like, you don't ever take me to like a really fancy restaurant. And it was like called 333. It was like, we spent like almost $1,000 that night.
Oh my God, just you two.
Well, at first it was like 500 on food, but like he was taking me out before and stuff.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it accumulated to $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a cute date.
Usually we just go to like Olive Garden or Red Lobster, like normal restaurants, you know?
Family friendly restaurants. Yeah.
We never been to like a fancy restaurant. I was like, okay, this is a sign. And then he kept saying like the ring will look cute on your finger. Like he kept throwing hints, you know? So then we went to the restaurant and I'm like, it's happening. Because he kept walking to the waiter. I'm like, why is he going over there? He was trying to have him film and stuff. Anyways, he didn't end up filming, but someone did film like in the restaurant. He proposed and I was like, I lucky knew it was happening. And then he proposed. And then literally last month on June 8th, we got married. We just decided to like not post it. We just went to the courthouse and did it. But we do still want to go to a priest and make it like from God and like make sure God like did the marriage, you know? I feel like that would make our official date, but we are legally married.
How
but
does that feel?
Feels good. I'm a wife.
I'm a wifey, mother of 3 and everything. I
Yeah.
love that for you. You're thriving, girl.
I know. Wait.
How did- you shared that you were proposed, but you didn't share
Like the marriage.
that the marriage and everything else. Do you feel like sometimes being on social media, do you feel like sometimes we get pressured of like sharing every single moment of like, you know, oh, you have to have this over the top wedding. Do you
Right.
ever feel those pressures?
Well, a lot of people were mad because I said we didn't want to have a wedding because like all his family lives in a different state. I really only have my sister. I don't really have my mom and dad and all that. So I didn't want to have a wedding. I have no friends. Like, why would I spend all this money for like one person to be sitting on my side?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing that, you know? So we decided to just go to the courthouse, and a lot of people were like mad, like in my comments about it. So I was like, I'm not going to record it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see all the hate comments. Like, this is a private, intimate thing that I want to have with him. So we did it with the kids too. We just went there. I wore like a little dress. He got dressed up. And we went there, but I still want to go do it with a priest just to make it like, you know. But yeah, I don't really care.
I love that. And I feel like, you know, as content creators, we're allowed to have private moments. You know,
Yeah.
we're allowed to not have to share everything, you know, because I feel like, you know, those are the moments that are going to be, yeah, sometimes it's cool documenting them, but sometimes as content creators, you guys, when we're documenting stuff, like recently, right, we had a party for my grandpa's 1-year anniversary last weekend from his death. And, you know, I was thinking of documenting it. I was thinking of like, you know what, like I want to share this
Right.
moment with my followers. You know, they know how hard this moment was for me. And if I'm being honest, I really only have 4 videos on my phone from that day because I decided not to vlog because I'm like, you know what? Like,
You gotta be in the moment
in the
sometimes.
moment, I want to, you know, really take this moment for what it is and not
Yeah.
have to be too concentrated or worried about
Yeah.
getting the perfect shot. You know, and I feel like I had so much fun. I blacked out, you guys, the next day. I didn't even know what the fuck happened, but everyone had a great time and I had a good time. I want to talk about something that happened recently. You recently shared that you had a miscarriage. You know, tell us a little bit more about that. How did that happen? Were you having any symptoms of the miscarriage? And overall, how did that affect you?
Basically, I woke up. I thought I was only like 4 weeks pregnant. Turns out I was 10 weeks pregnant. But I was having like so much pain. I was like, at first I thought the baby was stuck in like my fallopian tube. Or I thought I was having, what is it? appendix where it burst.
Okay.
So I thought my appendix was bursting because I wasn't bleeding. So I was like, I'm not having a miscarriage.
Did you know you were pregnant already?
Yeah, I took
Okay.
a pregnancy test, but I never went to like get an ultrasound. I'm not bleeding. It's not a miscarriage. Let's go to the ER because I couldn't move. I was in so much pain. So we went to the emergency room. We did the ultrasound, and she was making like all these weird faces. I was like, you know? And then she's like, I can't say anything. You got to wait till the doctor to tell you. So I'm like, okay. So then I go back, and we're waiting on the doctor. She comes in. She's like, so you're actually 10 weeks pregnant? I'm like, okay, you know? And she's like, so your appendix didn't burst. The baby's not in the fallopian tube. I'm like, oh, right. She's like, but the baby, like, is not growing normal. It doesn't look like a normal 10-week-old baby. And she like, it looks like a miscarriage is about to start. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know? And at first, this is when I finally accepted I'm pregnant, you know? I'm like, okay, I'm pregnant. I told my kids I'm pregnant. So I had to go home and tell them how I'm not pregnant. But then I left, like, the hospital. I'm crying the whole time, and I'm like, we have to stop and get pads because I'm going to start bleeding. I only had tampons, so I have to go get pads.
So they said, like, you weren't going through the miscarriage yet,
No,
but
they
it's
said it's
going to
gonna stop.
happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were like, you should expect bleeding, like, tomorrow morning or in a couple days. And then they said if I don't expect bleeding, I need to come back, you know? So I was like, okay. So I'm like, okay, I need to go get pads. So we go to the store to get pads. And then I remember, like, I'm, like, crying. I had, like, mascara coming down my face. And that girl's like, Mama, Lulu, can I take a photo with you? I'm over here, like, sad. And then the whole car ride home crying because she wanted a picture of me. I'm like, I had mascara running down my face. Like, I looked so horrible.
Did she post it?
No, I don't think so. But I had, like, my bands still on my hands, you know? Like, the hospital bands. And then I left, and then I was like, dang. And I just told, like, everyone on my account, like, I have news to tell you guys. Like, because I was going to tell them I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And then I was like, the whole time I had to tell them I'm having a miscarriage, you know?
How did it happen? You know, obviously they tell you it's going to start happening. What was the moment where you're like, oh shit, it's happening? Like,
So I woke up in a pile of blood. I woke up the next day and I'm like, why am I soaking wet? I like lift the blanket up and the whole bed is filled with blood. I'm like, okay, like it started. So I ran to the bathroom. I put like pads on and chains. I took a shower. And then for like the next 3 days, I was bleeding. And then normally I was like, it was just like chunks. But then once I'm like looking at it, analyzing like the miscarriage, I'm like, you know, and like chunks coming out. And then there's like little feet, I swear. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do with these feet? Like, do I bury it? Do I flush this feet? Like,
yeah.
I was just staring at it for like a whole hour. And like, that was the only part of the body that I seen. Like, everything else was just clumps. But I physically seen like little tiny
how
feet.
did that affect you?
It was sad. I was like, I didn't know what to do with it. I felt so bad, like, flushing it. I'm like, this is my baby that I'm going to flush down the toilet? Like, it didn't make sense to me. And I remember I was just crying, staring at it. I was like, okay. And then my kids started crying. I was like, okay, I got to hurry up. And I did it. And I was like, so sad. And then my kids kept going on my belly, like, where's the baby? Where's the baby? And I had to, like, tell my kids, like, I didn't want to say the baby's dead. So, like, the baby went to heaven. Mommy don't have a baby in her belly no more. And they're like, no, I want a baby. Like, my daughter got so mad. She's like, I want a baby. I want a baby. I'm like, it's okay. There's no baby. You know, you are my baby. You're my baby. It's okay. And then I just had to keep telling her, like, you guys are my baby. There's no more baby in my belly. And then now they, like, finally accepted it and kind of forgot about the situation.
What's it been like, you know, coping with this loss? Obviously, you know, you were so excited, you know, that your family was going to grow. How has coping and healing through this looked like for you?
I feel like everyone was getting mad. They're like, you just need to take time off social media and just, like, accept that you had a miscarriage. One thing about me is I have to keep going. Like, I feel like if I didn't post and I didn't do stuff, I would get, like, more sad about it.
Yeah.
So I kept posting. I kept going. I was like, I got to stay busy. And I've always been like that. Like, I'm always the person to keep going. Like, let's just keep going. I have to do it for my kids. I can't be sad around them.
Like, I can't stay sad and mope around. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I have kids. I got to keep going, keep pushing. I got to keep recording. I was like, I had to stay busy, you know? And then that's when my man, he was going to get a vasectomy because when I found out I was pregnant, he made a vasectomy appointment because we're 4 and done. We both just want 4 kids, you know? So it was kind of hard. Now I don't know if I want him to get it, though. Because, like, now I want 1 more kid. But not
you want
now.
the 4th baby?
Like, in 2 years, 3, 4 years from now.
You're like, so babe, hold on that.
Yeah, but the only reason he was getting it is because we thought we were already pregnant with the 4th baby.
What was it like? You know, obviously sharing the news can be very nerve-wracking. You know, oh my God, I'm sharing something so intimate to my followers. You know, what was it like, you know, recording that, pressing send, and almost kind of making it official for your followers and also for yourself? Because I feel like you said, I feel like, you know, I'm the type to also keep going, but also the type, like, if I publicize something, it's like, concrete done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How did that feel?
I don't know. For me, I'm such an open book. Like, I tell everyone everything. I feel like that's not as good. Maybe I should keep things more private. But I feel like I just like telling people. I feel like they help me, like, in the comments. So, like, them supporting me helps me, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, everyone's telling me, like, it's okay. I'm like, it is okay, you know? Because, like, I don't have friends, you know? I literally have no one to talk to. So a lot of people think I share too much, but I'm like, those are my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I have no friends. Like, I got to tell them, or who am I going to tell, you know?
I do feel like social media, you know, even though it comes, we've always talked, and I think on the podcast, we focus on the bad sometimes,
Right.
you know. In the last podcast, I mentioned that, you know, I had a follower one time say, you know, you're the reason why I'm still here. I feel like for us too, it's
Yeah.
like they're the reason why we keep going, because
It
there's
is.
support. Like, I feel like sometimes, you know, when I'm going through shit, I'm the type that I can't like explain it to like my real life friends sometimes, because I feel like they're not gonna get me, or I'm just like gonna over explain. But whenever I feel like I share more with my followers whenever I vlog and I sit down, because I feel like I'm just yapping, and no one is giving me a yes or a no. Like, I'm just talking my shit. And when I see their comments, it almost makes me feel not alone. And I feel like almost that kind of helped you, like, be like, you know what? Like, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who's gone through this. Like, they're making me feel better. You know, life does get better. You know,
Yeah.
to finish this topic off, what piece of advice would you give anyone watching at home that is currently going through a miscarriage or has gone through one and feels like there's no getting better?
I feel like when you have a miscarriage, that baby will come back to you. Like, let's say you have a miscarriage and then your next baby, I feel like that baby is coming back into that baby.
Yeah.
I feel like that baby will find their way back to their mommy. And I don't know. I feel like maybe my next baby will be the baby that I miscarried. And that's just what I like to believe to make myself feel better. And yeah.
And everything does get better, you guys.
Yes.
If any of you women, or, you know, even I feel like also the men, you know, hurt too, you know, because at the end of the day, it's also, you know, their baby. If you guys are going through this, acuérdense, amigas, that everything will get better. Keep your faith in God. Y si Dios quiere, tú vas a tener tu bebecito. You know, we believe very much in rainbow babies, and, you know, just keep
Yes.
going. And when the time is right, it will happen. You know, I've been loving this conversation. To know that you were so nervous and I was nervous
I was so
too.
scared.
I'm telling her, you guys, haven't you guys been enjoying today's episode? Like, come on. Necesito
Thank
escucharlos,
you.
amigas. Necesito escuchar los aplausos, because you've done an amazing job.
Thank
To
you.
finish off today's topic and podcast episode, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, whether that is as a family, career-wise, everywhere? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself with my husband, of course. I see my kids being older, going to school. Oh my God, that makes me so sad. I see us, I don't know, I mean, we might be in a new house. I don't know, I just see us all growing as a family, me growing as a mother. And I don't know, I might have like 1 million something followers by then. I'm manifesting it.
And it will happen.
I'm
And I know
manifesting.
everything you just said will happen, you guys, porque en verdad que sí, whenever you're determined to accomplish something, se hace.
It will happen.
And I'm so excited, amigas, en verdad que sí, that we had this time to sit down and talk, because I really do feel, even me, you know, I follow you, you know, I see your content, but I feel like for me, whenever I sit down with someone one-on-one,
Yeah.
and even if I've heard some stories online, or even if I've seen some of your content, I feel like it's a different feeling. And I
Yeah.
love the fact, and I appreciate the fact that you've came out here and opened up, because I know everyone at home did too.
Yes.
If you guys haven't followed her, amigas, aquí les voy a dejar our social medias down below, so you guys can go ahead and follow her and keep up with her. And also, don't forget to follow me, so you guys won't miss any future episodes. And with that being said, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I love being here.
And thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Yay! You did so good. Oh my God.